be proud of himself.
Rick, who do we have up next?
You know, you hear some people say this isn't my first rodeo. Actually, this is for Carlos Ugalde with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department. And but he's confident. He says he's hopeful. He thinks that he can win something. He's been working hard.
Yeah,
he says, you know, the average person could not do this.
These guys didn't
you
get
need
to
some
this.
specific training.
And talking about the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, we have to thank Sheriff Rick Bradshaw for making this all available, having the camera crews out here, and you know, putting this out for everyone who can't be here today to actually see it. And Barry, you were talking about, you know, even though this is this rider's first year,
These guys don't get to this level without spending their own time and effort to get there. You can put a guy through a 2-week course, and then after that, it's pretty much on themselves. They got to want it to do it.
So we're all seeing extremely dedicated people.
Absolutely.
And also the spectators are doing the same. We're starting to grow the crowd a bit here at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And you know, in addition to all these great riders and all these great events that are going on here, there's also things for the spectators, right? Because you want people to see what you guys do, all the hard work and training that you do, but you also want to meet them, right?
Exactly.
So what's that like to go ahead and I mean, some could be like-minded people, but what's it like to meet people that are interested in seeing these motorcycles?
You know, it's special. You start making connections with people, and you're not seeing. Sometimes people's only interaction with the police officer is in what one would call a negative light. They got stopped, or there was
or they're calling for help because there's something major happening.
They needed you know, police response.
Right.
So being able to engage people outside of a law enforcement environment, you know, I think people get to understand that, you know, we're your neighbor.
Right.
We're
You're regular people,
regular,
just like everyone
regular
else.
people.
And Rick, let me toss this over to you because we've got a rider that's going through. Who's this right now?
This is Officer Brad Mitchell with the Lauderhill Police Department. And Officer Mitchell had a little cheering section, had his wife come by, give him a little pep talk right before he got started. Been with Lauderhill PD for 8 years, and he seemed very excited about getting on this course.
And it looks like he's making a pretty clean run. He's making the family proud.
Absolutely.
Which I'm sure all of, you know, there's a big amount of pride that goes on with this, correct?
Absolutely. My in-laws were here today. My wife and daughter came out. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I know they support me. And nice end. Nice end to a good run.
Stop. All right, Rick, who's up next?
Next up, we've got Arthur Jennings. He is with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Been at this 9.5 years. And, of course, the main charity here is helping out kids and families who have lost loved ones, people that have died in the line of duty. So, so many of these men and women that have passed the start line have mentioned to me that they're just excited that they can be a part of this charity to help out the fallen officers' families. And it looks like Officer Jennings has started. How's he doing, guys?
So far looks good. He's going through that 360 around the cones. It looks like a little bit wider 360 some of the other areas of the course.
You know, he's choosing his lines, his path of travel.
And I'm Gary Whittam. I'm joined with Sergeant John Kelly from the Broward County Sheriff's Office, and also Barry Cunley, former police officer and deputy, currently with Harley-Davidson Daytona Beach. And we've talked about the motorcycles, we've talked about the riders, we've talked about the course. It's just a fantastic event, and really there's lots of charitable organizations that benefit from this event. And Rick, the one that you were mentioning, the main one, concerns of police survivors. What's it mean for you guys to go ahead and help out a charity that helps out the families who lost a loved one in the line of duty?
As far as I'm concerned, there's no other charity that a police officer should be involved in. I mean, knowing cops for all these years, we know that every dime that we give them goes to support whatever things they provide for the children of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Every dime. There's no administrative costs, nothing. So
if you donate, you know that money
exactly
is going,
where that money is going to.
And you know, here's the other thing that people might not realize. Oh, he's able to hit the box right there. We'll come to that, my thought, in a second. Rick, who's on the course now?
From Delray Beach, it's Officer Daniel Kramer. Says that he loves the diversity in the job. Every day is different. You never know what you're going to get. Now, that's kind of opposite of this course. These guys know where every cone is, and they've been able to practice it, but certainly loves the challenge every day when he goes to work in Delray Beach.
Now, there's a very tight camaraderie between everyone, every department. Just if you have a badge, if you have a tin, I mean, whatever you are, you're part of a family. And I've noticed, in addition to the charities, you know, that you know, you guys have helped raise money for, besides the money, you know, someone that needs help, a family. You'll see officers, firefighters. You'll see people going to that person's house, and you know, if it's not a monetary thing, it's a, hey, I'll help you do this, or this needs to be fixed at your house, or things like that.
By nature, the fact that we're in law enforcement, we're problem solvers. We want to be part of the solution, and we're protectors. And when we see people that are down and out, when we see people having a hard time, you know, internally, it's what pushed us into this profession. It's our desire to fix wrongs, protect those that can't protect themselves, and be supportive of our communities, I think.
What's it like for you when you you know, you get a call? I'm sure there's a bit of that adrenaline pump, but you got to kick it back a little bit and keep level-headed. But what's it like when you're able to go somewhere, resolve a situation, everything is good? I mean, what's the rest of that shift for you?
Well, getting there.
And actually, we'll come to that thought in a second. We just finished one run, and Rick, who's up next?
From Prince George's County, right outside Washington, D.C., it's Corporal Dwayne Davis. 16 years on the force, part of this fantastic contingent from the mid-Atlantic states, and it looks like so far he's doing really well. Made the trip all the way down here. He says he didn't travel this far to just compete. He wants to see what he can do on this course.
And he seems to be going through just fine.
Nice and smooth.
Is the feeling when you help someone kind of the feeling if you get through this course clean, it's like a euphoric type thing?
You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's not about us. It really is never about, it's about, you know, what we leave behind. And in that moment, if there's a family that's going through a hard time, or there's a situation or an issue, and you're part of the solution, you're part of making someone's life better, or you can point them in a direction or provide a service, you know, it's about giving back. It's about, you know, there's something bigger than us.
Here's the thing I notice about you guys, though. Never brag about it. Never wave a big you know, sign going, look at what I did that was so great.
What? At the end of the day, again, it's not about us.
Right.
It's about what we leave behind.
Right?
I'll tell you what is about you and all the riders here today is this course and getting through it. And this looks like a pretty clean ride right here.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
And look, I mean, see, now he's not cutting that corner as tight as some of the other guys.
He's very deliberate, and he's using the room that's available in the exercise. Hey, I think he had a nice clean run.
No, he pushed it back.
Okay.
I mean, we couldn't see because that golf cart's in the way, but he might have overshot the box. Rick, who do we have up next on the course?
From the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department, it's Al Loudermilk, 55 years old. He says, you know, to compete against these guys keeps him young. He's an instructor. He says anyone can do this, but you got to work at it. This course is specific, and you got to navigate it and work hard to make sure you don't hit something. And so far, it looks like he's accomplishing that goal.
And this broadcast you're seeing right now is brought to you courtesy of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. We are here at the 26th Annual Southeast Police Motorcycle Rodeo, and
you know what? He got out of his rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it time and time again. Keeping that motorcycle rolling, keeping that power to the, all that plays into your rhythm. Mm-hmm. And once you get out of position, you try to bring yourself back a little bit, and now you're fighting it. And
but it looks like he regrouped well. I mean, going through the course,
he's back, moving along well. I'm sure he's kicking himself.
And looks like he's picked up the pace a little bit since that little incident right there.
Well, I think at this point he's like, well, I don't have much to lose right now. He's going to push it.
All right,
and,
so we might see the second half of this run being quite interesting.
He's going to do well. Yeah, he's going to. Again, he's going to be harder on himself than anybody else.
Absolutely.
And let's see. Yeah, he's cutting that a little lower than the last rider.
He's going to want to start training tomorrow for next year.
All right.
Oh, he was able to hit the box. We're
And
actually going to see what happened.
He finished strong.
Yeah, and so here, this is.
All right, he's a little bit out of position. He might have rubbed the base there, but look where he's at. See? And he's like, oh, I can't be here.
And look where he's looking.
Yeah.
He's looking right there where he shouldn't be.
Head, eyes, and handlebars a little late, and then that got him in trouble.
So he knew by overshooting that turn.
He knew the minute he came around that turn that.
There was a foot down. Rick, who's our rider that's on the course now?
This is Christopher Garcia from Miami-Dade Police Department, 17 years. You guys were talking about it earlier. He says he just tries his best every day. It's all he can do is try his best because he wants to help people.
You know, if you notice too, these guys don't go straight very often. They're always going from one turn directly into another turn. It's when they pause in the middle and they go straight for those few feet where they get offline.
Well, Sergeant Kelly, you had mentioned moving, you're upright. When you stop, you're falling one way or the other.
You got to keep momentum, and that's one part of an equation that involves 5 different parts.
Right.
He's keeping the power to the rear wheel. He's head, eyes, and handlebars. He's looking where he needs to go, not where he's at. He's got to snap that head, eyes, and handlebars around and find that exit point, and he's good. He doesn't do that, he doesn't make that turn.
I mean, there's just so many different pieces. You think about the weight shift, the speed, the weight shift going forwards and backwards and side to side, which has to do with speed and just leaning and turning. And then also you have a throttle on top of that and a clutch. So we couldn't see right there if he was able to hit the spot, but it looked like a clean run towards the end.
Deputy Mike Parmenter.
Rick, who's up next?
This is Deputy Mike Parmenter from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Says that he really wanted to be a motorcycle deputy because it's just in his blood. He's been with the department 11 years and says that he loves competing, loves the job, but also just loves going out there and seeing how he's going to fare against some of the rest of the competitors.
And so far, it's looking like a nice run.
See how he's just going from side to side, handlebars go from one turn to the next.
Very smooth.
And
Not
it's
even
amazing,
thinking about it.
It's amazing how nimble these bikes are, because it seems the more you turn the handlebars, the more apt you are to basically lean the bike over and fall. But they're not. I mean, they're just giving it gas as soon as they turn the handlebars, and they're staying up.
Yeah, like I said, as long as you keep power to that rear wheel, this bike will do amazing things.
How hard is it to stall a bike? Because since you're running that clutch and you're going between neutral and first, I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty easy to stall it.
Yeah, actually, no.
No?
I don't. That would be probably the last thing that I would ever expect to have happen out here is a bike stalling. Normally, the guys are keeping their RPMs a little higher than normal, and they're regulating that speed with the proper application of the clutch and brake. The throttle, some of them play with the throttle a little bit, off the throttle.
So that throw-out bearing is getting pretty warm right there because it's getting work. Keeping that clutch engaged barely and then back off.
Staying in that gray area.
If you press too hard on the brake, you're going to stall that motor.
All right, and so that was a run right there, hit the box. Rick, who's up next?
This is Chris Llewellyn from the Broward County Sheriff's Department.
Is that fast?
13 years with the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Just since August, though, he's been on a motorcycle. Made the switch because, hey, it's a motorcycle. Says he enjoys it and loves the competition.
So how hard is it to get into a motorcycle division? Because I'm sure there are lots of guys that want to do it.
It's an application process. Once you've got time in, we like guys being out there for 5 years. We want them on patrol. We want them to start getting some experience in other aspects of law enforcement.
And that's a great shot right there. You can see just how many cones and how confusing this can be if you don't really get a chance to go through it. These guys have had a chance since Wednesday to go through this particular course. And I'm joined at least for the last hour, by Sergeant John Kelly from the Broward County Sheriff's Office and Barry Cunley from the Harley Daytona Beach. And you've also been a deputy and a police officer and been on motorcycles for work. We've seen some great riders so far, and this run, no different than some of the other great ones.
Chris is a novice. He's only been on the bike for about 8 months.
He's doing great.
A quick story, he approached me and he wasn't initially going to do the rodeo. He said, Sarge, I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to embarrass you. And I said, Chris, you embarrassed me by not making the attempt.
That's
and
encouraging.
Here he is.
That's great.
And look at him, clean run. Very proud of him. Good
That's
job.
Fantastic.
Good job. Excellent job.
Rick, who do we have up next? Who just hit the course?
All right, this next competitor is Officer Phil Lanau. He is with the Miramar Police Department. He says, you know what, the tough part of this course, really the transitions. And the most difficult aspect, those U-turns. Because if you get off your mark and you're not able to complete it successfully, it can really throw you off for the rest of the course.
And it looks like he was a little thrown off right there. He just clipped a few of the cones in like 2 turns ago. So let's see if he can make it through clean the rest of the way.
Right.
And I've noticed there are some differences between some of these bikes, Barry. That right there, what is that in the front by the front light? A fairing?
It's a fairing bike.
So besides the look, is there anything else? Is there a weight difference, anything of that nature between the one that has the fairing and one that just has the windshield?
I didn't understand.
The bike with the fairing that we're seeing right now and the one with the windshield, any weight differences? What's the
there's
difference?
about 25 to 30 pounds more weight difference on takes a little bit more to muscle that fairing around than it does the windshield for sure.
Now, does that help with the balance of the bike at all? Because I noticed a lot of the officers or deputies are sitting forwards.
I
on the
think
seat.
once you get used to it, they're both just about the same. It definitely takes a little more strength to muscle that fairing around, though.
Gotcha. And we're actually going to see a replay of the cones that got clipped earlier in this run. At the end of this run when he gets through.
A lot of guys like to look at their front wheel too, and you can't do that with a fairing.
That's true. And talking about the front wheel, hit the box. We're actually going to see that replay real quick. It's going to be a few point deduction right there. Actually, it's right before that turn. We'll have that for you in a second. And it actually looks like they're clearing the course right now. We've got a little rest in the action. I don't know if we can get a shot of one of the
First
guys
time I've ever seen a replay on it.
Here we go. Here it is.
There
Okay.
you go. Yeah,
So
hit
you see
some
those two
cones
cones,
and
and it looked like a foot came down
foot
also.
down as well.
And those are a bunch of penalties right there. And just to go over the penalties, they range from
guess
1
this could-
penalty to 10 penalties, depending on what the infraction is. So these guys, they're definitely trying to get through this clean. However, a penalty is not going to end their day for them because there are a lot of different events and different
I
things.
think filming this like you guys are doing, and I think this could be a good training technique. I really do, to take it back to the officer and show them, hey, see, here's where you messed up. You were too close. And
Well, people that are watching it right now are catching it on YouTube. So
Yeah.
send them
Yeah.
the link, tell them
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's you guys last year, this year, an amazing job.
and really, it's the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office,
Yeah,
Sheriff
no,
Rick
absolutely.
Bradshaw that does this whole production.
Yep.
Not the event, but shooting it, getting the camera guys out here, the gear, having you guys
No,
sit
it's
here and talk
amazing.
about it. It's great. It's just fantastic. And also, Rick Blackwell over by the start line. I know there's a little bit of a break, and he's going to be talking to the next competitor that's going up. But if we can show, I don't know if you can see some of the guys that have those blower packs
Yep.
on their back. And you guys were talking earlier, the course gets scuffed up. So
you got
explain.
debris. You got all these turrets. There's minute particles of rubber being left when the floorboard scrapes, when a frame scrapes. Some gravel is being kicked up on the road. Not just once, but continuously.
Right.
And occasionally they'll stop, blow the course off, and get everybody back in the game.
And it looks like they cleared the course and they
Uh-huh.
have the next competitor on there. Rick, who is this?
This is Corporal Chris Stewart from the Orlando Police Department. 14 years on the force. He said, I would think if I'm on a motorcycle and I'm doing this course, it would be stressful. He says, no stress, because basically he's just here to enjoy himself, see what he can do, try to really embrace the competition, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, and just as soon as this runs over, we're going to have to say goodbye to Sergeant John Kelly because
Yeah, I got to do my slow ride.
that's right. You got to do your run on the other course. But talking about this doesn't have the fairing. You can see the competitor right now. You can see him kind of looking down through, right by the shocks.
It's a
to
different
see a
look.
little lower. I mean, you see him looking
Yes,
down.
absolutely.
And versus, I'm guessing with that fairing, you that view's obstructed. You're kind of looking over.
It's a different way of riding, and it's just something that each rider gets used to. It's his motor, it's his view, and it's just a matter of.
It's the same techniques
Yep.
for the
exactly.
rider, no matter which bike you ride.
And I'm guessing,
Exactly.
I know you've got adjustments. You can adjust the shocks, hard, light, the seat. There are minor adjustments that each rider can make. And actually, he
box.
was able to hit the box right there, no problem. All right, so John, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. It was
Thank
really
you.
a good time.
Barry.
John,
Rick,
good
let me
talking.
toss it on over to you at the start line.
All right, we've got Deputy
Good
Joe
luck on your next
Littlejohn. He is with Orange County. Boy, he got to a fast start. Said that there are 6 officers from 6 deputies with Orange County that made the trip to South Florida for this event. And he basically said, you know what, they get together about once a month in Orange County and they have a regular practice session, and they've duplicated this course in their big parking lot over there at the Orange County Sheriff's Department. So back to you, Gary.
Thanks a lot, Rick. And Barry, so let me ask you a quick question. So these guys, Rick was saying at Orange County Sheriff, they get together once a month and they train. Is that pretty much the average? Is that normally what guys do? They'll train every month?
There are some departments that train every month and that certify their officers probably once a year. They make them go through a specific course. They have to show a certain amount of proficiency. And then there's some other departments that really, unfortunately, don't train as much as they should. As an administrator, you have to think of the old liability word, you've got to give your guys some training so they can.
And, you know, talking about the training, he came
keep their
through, hit
skills.
the box, no problem. And I'm guessing the more training, obviously, the better. Rick, who is our next rider that's hitting the course right now?
This is Deputy Nicholas Cotalese from Coral Springs. Excuse me, Officer Cotalese. Made the short trip over here to the Hard Rock. He's got the American flag in the back. He's got it's a beautiful bike and is doing a really nice job on this course. And Coral Springs always has really great officers that compete in this competition.
And actually, Rick, that's the city I grew up in, and luckily, I never had to meet any of these guys on the other side of those flashing lights. But, you know, they're coming through, and yeah, I mean, all these riders have been fantastic. And, you know, Nick, he looks like he's getting a little aggressive coming through his turns. What do you think, Barry?
Been around for a while, and I don't think this is his first time, so he's...
it's not his first rodeo?
Yeah, I think he's looking pretty good. Nice and smooth.
And you can see when he's, you know, slowing down, you can see those shocks in the front, just kind of pushing down that forward momentum, coming to a quick stop.
Sure. Yeah, he's looking pretty good going through there.
And you can always tell from that engine, it's just a clean. It's not a, he's not, you know, jerking the throttle. It's just clean and controlled, it looks.
Yep.
He's got that tight low turn right there. Giving it gas and hitting the brake and hitting the box.
Yep, good
That was
job.
yeah, good run. All right, Rick, who do we have up next?
This is Deputy Donnie Jackson, excuse me, from the Broward County Sheriff's Department. 25 years he's been with the department, 11 years on motorcycle patrol, works traffic enforcement, says there's a lot of gratification when he can make a traffic stop and knows that he's keeping the public safe.
And you can tell he's kind of coming through aggressive. You see those front shocks. I mean, that just bouncing. That bike is dancing.
Yeah, Donnie's a good rider. He's being real aggressive. He's probably got, you know, some inter-squad pride here to these BSO guys. There's a group of them that are really, well, they all ride good, but they, like I said before, the competition amongst themselves.
Yeah, it's competition on many levels. You've got the
for
competition
sure.
here, themselves. I mean, everything. Yeah, I mean, he's just coming through. It's fast and it's clean. Haven't been able to see. Haven't seen anything.
Yeah, he looks pretty good
when it comes to an infraction. Yeah.
Notice how he's turning his head. You know, he's got that head on a swivel. Good
And
job.
gas. Oh, that was close. Almost missed that box. All right, Rick, who do we have up next on the course?
Well, the tribe has spoken. This is Deputy Jeff Probst, like the Survivor host. And you know when, like, you probably, like, the guy that's Michael Jordan, who's like a salesman in, like, you know, Roanoke, he probably gets it all the time. This guy's like, yeah.
Right, or like Ronald McDonald with the fast food commercials, yeah.
Yeah, he is out of the Broward County Sheriff's Department. I said, what do you love about being on a bike? He said, being on a bike, you know. He says that he's enjoyed it. He's been with the department 12 years and says every day he gets better at it. He just enjoys being out there, getting in the Florida sunshine.
You know, Barry, that's something we were talking about before. It's learning every single day.
Oh,
I mean, you're
absolutely.
experienced, but the learning is still there, right?
That's absolutely true. You have.
And would you say the guys that are even been part of the motorcycle rodeo for years have learned something new this time around?
Oh, I'm sure, because they're always exchanging information, and they're talking to, you know, other officers from other departments and everything. And, you know, one guy will say, well, hey, I tried this and I tried this, and they're always passing along a little bit of information back and forth.
And do you think because the Harleys are evolving over and over again, like you said, the new one here, what you said, a little bit quicker off the line, do you think that's why they're also learning new things, and he was able to hit the box right there? We'll talk about that in a second, but there was a little bit of a penalty right there. Took out 2 cones. Well, took out 1 cone, hit a second.
Yeah.
But looked like he was able to recover pretty well. And Rick, let me send it over to you with our next competitor.
Scott Fry from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department is on the course. You know, the basic rules, you guys have gone over them. They've got to be assigned to a motorcycle unit. They've got to compete on the motorcycles that they use at work. They wear the uniforms that they're wearing on duty, and they have to wear a helmet. They're looking sharp.
Uh-oh.
And unfortunately, we got Scott going off the course.
Yeah, going off the course, and it looks like he took out 3 cones and a foot's down. That's not going to be good. And while he regroups, just to go over the points, penalty points, 1 point for a wheel that crosses a line, 2 for touching a cone, 3 points for putting your foot down, and 5 points for knocking down a cone. And then there's 10 points for dropping a motorcycle, and also 10 points for running out of an exercise. Now here's the thing, there's only a maximum of 20 penalty points allowed, so at a certain point, you could mow down every cone, you're only going to get 20 points off.
Right.
And it seems pretty clean since he was able to regroup and make it down the rest of the course, Barry.
I think we actually give an award to the guy that hits the most amount of cones.
Really? So there's an award for the winner and the guy that comes out with the worst score. That's fantastic.
And they also have an award for the most improved rider. So
okay,
that comes back, you know, you have a terrible rodeo and you learn through the year and you come back next year and you get better and you have that opportunity to
And I think he just tapped another cone. Let's see if he can hit the box. That's a close one. That's going to be the judges. We're going to actually see a replay right here.
These couple guys that were walked up here, they were Fort Lauderdale guys cheering them on here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of great from the Inter.
And you see right there, that was just off the course. Rick, who do we have up next?
I want you to take a look at Deputy Eric Swiger from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Took in some of that fantastic training that he received in Palm Beach County, the monthly training, and it looks like that training is being put to good use because Eric's looking great on the course right now.
Yeah, very looks like a very meticulous ride. Oh, he did put
down.
1 foot. Kind of lost it around that turn right there. I spoke a little too soon. Yeah, that was the cone right there. And, you know, we have to thank Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. He has put together this broadcast with his crew at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So thank you very much for that, and that's how you were able to see this at home. And I'm actually joined here with Barry Cunley from Harley-Davidson Daytona Beach. You're also a Pompano Beach officer turned Broward County Sheriff's Officer. I'm Gary Whittam. And, you know, we've seen almost 100 riders right now going through the speed course here at the 26th Annual Southeast Police Motorcycle Rodeo. And all said and done, very few of these riders, well, you know, I need to stop talking about very few of the riders not taking out cones.
Yeah,
Because
really.
I seem to be jinxing people.
Yeah, that's right.
That didn't go good right there. But really, overall, we haven't seen too many of those cones knocked down when it comes to almost 100 riders.
Yeah, this has been a very good competition. I think the skill level here is pretty high.
And he was able to hit the box right there. We're actually going to see a replay, unfortunately, of some of the cones being taken out.
A little bit too wide right there. And, you know, once you take your cone out and you try to recover, if like right here, he's way too wide. So
you just know, if you're not in that butter zone the whole way,
right,
it's not just one cone you're taking out. You're most likely going to be hitting a few till you get it together again.
When you look at him, you can tell where that front wheel's placed, and if you're shorting yourself or you're not giving yourself enough room, you know it's going to lead to just one more thing right after another.
And, you know, if you're taking a look at the course, you can see from some of our shots, you're starting to see the lines that a lot of the guys take and just how close to the ground and when little pieces of metal underneath the bike are hitting the ground. So you're starting to see those cuts, those gouges, and you can see right there the marks from the tires with guys coming around. And those right there arrows, however, are just to show the riders the route through the course.
Path of travel.
And these guys, a lot of them have been practicing this course since Wednesday, the first time they were able to get on. This is one of the various courses here at the Police Motorcycle Rodeo. This is the speed course, trying to get through as quick as possible. And besides that earlier incident right here, Eric seems to be, Fred seems to be getting through pretty good.
Yep, once he got over those couple little bit of glitches and he got into a new section of the course, he just sucked it up and did what he had to do.
Do you think that could have been nerves because it was off the very top?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe he might just got off to a little bit of a bad start, a little bit of bad line, and was able to muscle his way through it and get back on track.
And we got Rick over at the starting line. The next competitor's on. So, Rick, how did the start look here?
Yeah, this person's from the Broward County Sheriff's Department. I want you to take a look right now. Matt Radabow. He has been enjoying his stay. Obviously, from the home county, looking really good on this course. And Matt, again, from the Broward County Sheriff's Department, has been working real hard to get himself ready for this competition.
And he seems to be coming through clean right now.
Yeah, these Broward guys are dialed in. They train pretty hard for this. You know, it's a matter of pride within their unit. And They really, when the time comes for competition, they kind of seem to focus in on it and go that extra mile and do what they need to do to get the job done.
So while it's a fun event, it's still taken seriously.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's, you know, it's a pride for their unit. You know, I think to a man out here, to a department, they'll all say that they would rather win the team award at the end of the day than the individual awards.
And this event has grown every year. I mean, this is the 26th year, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And in a few minutes, Barry, we'll talk about the history of this. But, well, that was a good run right there. Matt was able to go ahead and hit that box at the very end. Rick, who do we have up next?
This is Officer Brody Scott from Coral Springs. Now, Brody has been with the Coral Springs PD for 3 years, just 2 months with the motorcycle unit. And he says, you know what? There is a learning curve. He says he wouldn't do anything else. He's learning something every day. He's got a real passion to be the best officer that he can be, and he's trying his best out here.
So, Barry, I'm guessing since this guy is real green, he's either going to be super methodical and very, very, I guess, careful going through here, or what do you think? He's just going to kind of try to zip through it?
I'll tell you what, he's looked pretty darn good to me.
So you're surprised that he's got 2 months?
If he's only got 2 months, somebody's worked with this kid, and that's the beauty. I'm sure the last couple of days he's been out here training, and I'm sure there's been some senior motor guys out here or some instructors out here that have maybe helped him a little bit, and he looks like he might have some natural skills with him there.
I mean, clean so far, and he's gone through about half the course right now. And he's not going through this slow. I mean, he's moving pretty quick for especially some guy with, you know, just 2 months on the bike.
I'm very impressed with this young rider. He's doing a fine job.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. He's coming through. This is some S turns right there. And let's see how low he cuts it. All right, not the tightest turn we've seen.
Right, he's using the full course. You know, you can't override your skill level, and I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, he hit
really
the box.
Impressed.
Yeah, that was great. Rick, who's up now?
This is Raul Gomez from the Miramar Police Department, and Officer Gomez, really thankful to be here, to be a part of this great event. Loves helping out this wonderful charity, and so far it looks like he's doing a wonderful job on the course.
And again, you know, lots of charitable organizations benefit from this event. There is one main one. It is the concerns of police survivors. Can't stress out what this charity does. Can't stress it enough because, you know, they go ahead and they help out the families who have lost loved ones in the line of duty. And, you know, specifically the children. You know, a lot of these guys out here and women, they're the breadwinners. They're the ones that bring in the money. And, you know, a sudden death on the job is devastating overall, but it can also be financially devastating for many people. So, you know, in the past few years, last year $50,000 was raised. 2 years ago, $70,000. So, you know, it's an organization that a lot of people are getting behind, and as they should. And you know, definitely helps out. It's a great thing for, you know, to know for these people that have families, these officers and deputies, know that they've, you know, got that behind them.
The C.O.P.S organization is made up mostly of survivors, and they do they have tremendous programs for the C.O.P.S kids, retreats and camps and stuff where they're with other kids that have gone through the same kind of tragedies, and they know they're not alone out there.
And that's definitely got to be big. Rick, getting back to the action, who is on the course now?
Let me tell you that Peter Closey next to me is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. He's the producer helping me with a lot of these names. A lot of people making their way over to the course. And in this particular case, it's William Bradshaw from Miami Gardens. And William's on the course right now, an experienced rider and doing a nice job out there representing, again, the Miami Gardens Police Department.
Hey, Rick, do you know any relation to Sheriff Rick Bradshaw?
I don't believe so.
Okay. But we do have to thank him because, you know, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, they're the ones that have helped organize this and make this available for you to see, since you can't be down here at the 26th Annual Southeast Police Motorcycle Rodeo at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida. And, you know, just fantastic that we're able to go ahead and show you, sitting at home, in addition to all the spectators and people that have shown up here. And they're seeing a fantastic run right now. Wouldn't you say, Barry?
I'm trying to think if he nicked a little cone there or not, but
if he did,
good
it wasn't
job.
anything major, but yeah, hit the box, and
good
it
job.
looks good. Rick, who do we have up now?
This is David Wilson with the Broward County Sheriff's Department, and talking to David a little bit just a few moments ago, I said, are you here because of the competition? He goes, yeah, sure, but you know, the bottom line, we're really just here for the kids, making sure that, you know, those kids are taken care of. Once again, they are the survivors. They are the family members of these fallen officers and deputies that risk their lives every day, and some die in the line of service, and he wanted me to point that out.
Yeah, it definitely is a great charity. The Concerns of Police Survivors National Charity. And Barry, would you say somewhat aggressive coming through the turn right there?
Well, Dave's a good rider. He's been around for a while. I think he's doing a pretty good job, nice and smooth. He's getting through here pretty good. I think he's looking like he's going to have a good run.
And he looks like he's using the entire course also.
Yeah, he's very fluid.
Smooth.
Turning his head, looking at where he wants to go.
How hard is that right there, that S turn, where you're swinging to left, you're swinging to right, you're swinging to left?
Well, you got to go lock to lock, you know, when you make your turn. So it's a normal motion that they do in the course. So it's just making sure you get your wheel placed right.
So it's a rhythm. Rick, who do we have up next?
This is Deputy Tommy Hannigan from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Started in February. It's his first rodeo. He says riding with peers and coworkers, just the best. It's a huge competition. 2-week basic course is not enough. They just keep working at it all the time to be the best officers and best deputies that they can be. And we wish him well out there on the course.
And he looks like he's doing good so far. And again, you know, looking at the course, so that tight turn right there, you can start to see where those scuff marks are coming up. And he's actually doing the turn right in front of us.
Another rider that's only had a few months that's doing a real good job. I don't know, must be something in the water these guys are drinking down here or something.
Barry, let me ask you, I mean, if you ride this, if this is your first year, do you get addicted to it? Like you do it once and you got to keep doing it?
Absolutely. I mean, these guys will be, next week they'll already be training for next year. They'll want to redeem themselves for any mistake they want. They'll throw up the course that they had the mistakes in on their own training site, and they'll just go over and over and over again until they can get it right.
That's great. And I mean, it looks like a clean run so far.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Seems like we have a lot of guys here this year that are got their first rodeo going on a pretty good novice class. So,
and he was able to hit the box right there. So
it'd be a good competition to see who wins this.
Rick, who's hitting the course now?
Ready to put his training to the test. This is Mike Lapis from Orange County. Deputy Lapis looking great right now on the course. Works in Central Florida. Made the trip down here to South Florida, and he's trying to impress his fellow officers and deputies today.
Barry, quick question. How big a deal is that to, I mean, you've got the pressure of obviously the course not being that easy to begin with, but do these guys really feel the pressure from, you know, their coworkers to kind of show what they can do?
Well, you don't ever want to let down your buddies, you know, because ultimately it's the team competition that you want to do. So
because there is a team award also in addition to the individual.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to kid anybody. Sure, everybody wants to win Mr.Rodeo, but there's only, out of all the riders out here, there's probably only 10 or 15 that really have a great chance to win it.
Oh.
You really got to be dialed in on it. Not that there's more, maybe 30 or 40 that could win it, but on there's on any given day, there's probably maybe 10 or 15 that you know that are riding good that week, and they're dialed in and they're feeling good. So
gotcha. And Rick, who do we have that just jumped on the course now?
Ready to show off his brake, clutch, and throttle controls. Hamlet Diaz. He is an officer from Miami Gardens, and we've already got one cone down, Gary.
And so far, he's coming through pretty clean. How tight? I mean, if you're, oh, no, I take that back. There was, one of our camera guys was able to catch a cone that got clipped. How tight, you know, for people watching at home, are these cones positioned in certain areas? I mean, we're looking 2 feet, 3 feet apart, 4 feet, what?
The cones are probably 3 or 4 feet apart in the circle, but the standard circle is 18 feet wide, is how wide it is to turn, because that's basically what your average street is. So,
And so how long is the bike approximately?
the bike's about 8 feet.
Okay, so you figure double the bike length, maybe
Right.
a little bit more.
Right.
Okay. But now the width, like when they're coming through those 90-degree turns, I mean, that's tight in a bike that size, because that's got to be what, 3 feet across?
Right. It's probably about 4 feet. The width of the bike's probably 28 inches.
Oh, just overshot the box.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're actually going to see a replay where that cone got clipped.
See, his saddlebag rail clipped it in the end there.
All right. And our next rider just hit the course, Dumal Janit, North Miami Police. Coming out on the course, got through the first section of turns, and here are these 90-degree turns.
Right, yeah, those are tight turns. You gotta make sure you're going lock to lock and bending that motorcycle through them.
And that wheel doesn't turn a whole lot. So, I mean, it's turning the wheel, and then you got to lean because you got to give it the extra.
Right.
Because you can see them. I mean, they're.
When you lean the motorcycle, it's going to move the back end of the motorcycle and lean it over and give you a couple more inches to get through there.
Okay. So when you're turned all the way and you're leaning, that's it.
That's
I mean, you're making the tightest turn you could possibly make.
Yep. Oops.
Uh-oh. So what do you think happened right there? You think he just didn't give you enough power?
I think he saw that he was a little bit out of a line, saw that cone coming in, and he leaned the bike to compensate for it, and he just kind of sucked in that clutch. And when he did that, gravity took over, because when you're already leaned over, there's only one way to go, that's down.
Right. So I mean, you're threading the line between keeping it going and that's it.
Yeah.
That looks like he's come back, going through the rest of the course pretty clean.
Yeah, it takes a little upper body strength. You don't realize it, but to move those handlebars back and forth,
He
just
got offline.
Yeah, he got offline there.
All right, he was able to hit the box. We're actually going to have a replay of the first infraction.
Let's see what he does here. Watch his head. Where's he looking? Yeah.
He looked like he was looking straight ahead, actually.
Yep. And he realized he was going to be in trouble. And
so is that a concentration thing? You're like, oh, I'm out of line, rather than trying to hit the cone?
That was a mistake probably about 30 feet before he even made that turn, not thinking about where his next position was for his wheel and the direct path he was going.
Gotcha. Our current rider right here, Joel Benjamin, Prince George County Police. And it looks like he's taking a slow and steady wins the race kind of beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure he's competed in the Mid-Atlantic Rodeo up in Washington, D.C. They're Prince George County up there. They have a pretty good-sized motor unit, and they do a wonderful competition up there.
Now, is their ride speed or more precision?
Theirs is pretty much like ours.
Okay.
They're actually, the Mid-Atlantic Police Motorcycle Rodeo is probably the longest in the country. That's how ours first started, when a group of Fort Lauderdale guys went up to compete up there, and they saw that competition up there and came back and said, hey, we can do that down here. And that's when a group of motor guys down here got together, and from some different units, and that's how it all started.
And it grew every year from there. So this is the 2015 Southeast Police Motorcycle Rodeo you're watching. It is the 26th annual down here, and this year it's at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And Joel seems to be doing a pretty good run.
Yep, he's, we'll see if you can.
And I saw right there, he actually looked ahead to the exit before he was just halfway through the turn.
He has great head and eyes control. You can really see him turn that head around and look to where he wants to go. And great head, and that would be a good example of good head and eye control there.
Oh, and he just looks like he overshot the box a little bit.